I feel like Valentine's Day in some regards is just sort of an excuse to repackage bad chocolate into
Well, that's
pretty
definitely true.
boxes.
There's definitely a hierarchy to the boxes of chocolate, and you know exactly where your relationship is by what you get.
Yes.
Russell Stover versus, no offense to, Godiva or actually, Infusion or some. Yeah, there's definitely a hierarchy where you know exactly where you're at in the relationship.
Oh, he sprung for Candinas or
Right.
Madison Chocolate Company
Exactly.
versus...
Oh,
yeah.
you clearly got this at
the
Walgreens
Walgreens
on the way home. Yeah.
Hello, welcome to The Corner Table, a Capital Times podcast about food and drink in Madison. It is the Ides of February, which means Valentine's Day and Lent are simultaneously upon us. I've got my coworker and friend Rob Thomas, author of the Yeah, I Ate That column, in the studio this week to talk about things that are red, things that are heart-shaped, and even some things that are charcoal black for anybody doing the anti-Valentine's Day thing. I'm your host, Cap Times food writer Lindsay Christians. I am a sucker for heart-shaped stuff, and I love a good box of chocolates, so this was a really fun episode to do. Put in your order for your heart-shaped pizza and give a listen. Welcome, Rob. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, Lindsay. Thanks for having me.
So it's almost Valentine's Day. Actually, by the time this airs, it will be Valentine's Day.
Oh, I just imagine people curling up together and listening to our podcast in front of a roaring fire.
Yeah,
some mulled wine.
Eating whatever red-colored thing that we recommend to them.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the theme for Valentine's Day, it's love, it's chocolate. What are manufacturers sort of looking at when they think Valentine's Day theme?
Yeah, it's a little interesting Valentine's Day because it's a very food-focused holiday in the sense that, like, A, you may go out to dinner, and B, give each other chocolate or candy hearts. But there's not like a lot of distinct flavors associated with it the way there is with like Halloween or Thanksgiving or certainly Christmas, right? And that's usually what gives rise to sort of crazy flavored stuff because then it's like, oh, we could take peppermint and, fried chicken with it or something weird like that. And then it's Christmas chicken. There's not a lot of that with Valentine's Day. And then the other thing is like, for the most part, unless you're alone on Valentine's Day, which is fine and we're not judging, you're giving chocolates to somebody else.
Right. So it has to be what they like.
Right. So you're not going to take a flying leap and get something crazy usually unless you're saying something, you're conveying a message. So there's it's fraught to some degree. So you usually would tend to play it safe and get like, a box of chocolates. Exactly. Because it's like all different things and you can't be held responsible if one of them stinks.
I will be getting chocolates for Valentine's Day. It is every year. I always get chocolates and I always love them because my husband knows exactly what I like. And sometimes he'll throw in a couple of ringers because Gail Ambrosius always does.
Right.
Like a couple of fun ones just for the holiday.
Well, that's what I was wondering with like artisanal chocolatiers. Do they make weird flavored, they always look really interesting, but the flavors don't go too wild, right?
It's more like passion fruit.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Or pomegranate.
Blueberry.
Or, yeah. It's something, it's going to usually be like dark red berries or something that is maybe in a flavor they already do, but then in the shape of a heart or
okay, right.
I guess a Cupid or something else that indicates Valentine's Day.
So a lot of times when you go to if you go to like the Target Valentine's Day, it's just a sea of red things, right? Like there's red velvet, Hershey's Kisses. The red velvet's a big thing lately, I think.
And red velvet is just like chocolate with food coloring, right? Isn't red velvet cake just food coloring?
I mean, I think so. It always seemed drier to me than regular chocolate cake, but I don't know if that was a mental thing rather than it actually was. It always seemed drier to me. Oh, this is another really good one is, Starbucks has been doing this thing where they do sort of pop-up holiday recipes for like 5 days. So they had like the Christmas tree Frappuccino. And so like this year for Valentine's Day, they're doing like a cherry mocha Frappuccino, which like sounds fantastic.
That sounds so good.
Right.
I just want like a cherry mocha like straight up. You don't even have to make a Frappuccino
right.
out of it.
I think they have a latte one as well.
That sounds so good.
Yeah. So they're not messing around either because they could have done like, crazy candy heart box of chocolates thing, but they're like, no, we're just going to do cherry mocha. So that's an example of like people not going too crazy for Valentine's Day stuff. So the weirdest thing I did write about a couple of weeks ago for Valentine's Day was, of course, our friends at Oreos who make these, bizarre flavors. I mean, more now than the regular Oreo flavor, had a hot and spicy cinnamon Oreos, which was, in theory, I think would be fine because like I've had cinnamon hot chocolate and then like the spice and the chocolate go together. But this is clearly, when they mean cinnamon, they clearly mean like red hots, like that bright red, sort of like a big red gum cinnamon flavor, which is not really cinnamon. It's not even really spicy necessarily, but it just sort of has that, it's sort of the same way juicy fruit is fruit. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh yeah, I see why they would call that fruit, but it's not. But if you taste an actual fruit that was like that, you go, oh, something is wrong with this fruit. Same with Big Red Cinnamon. It's like we've all accepted that this is a kind of cinnamon, even though it's not really cinnamon.
It's not really cinnamon. It's like, you're right. It's like something, it's like when you say candy cinnamon versus like actual cinnamon, they're
very
really
different. Very different. Yeah. I mean, so the Oreo was like the chocolate wafer and then a bright red cinnamon icing in the middle, which looked exactly the same as the winter Oreos that just came out. So you could have a lot of fun just like swapping out, we had both at home and swapping out and like, oh, here's have a regular Oreo. And then it was spicy and that was lots of fun for everyone. But so they were fine. There's the level of Oreos where you're like, oh, that was pretty good. And I'll have that again. Like they also have a chocolate hazelnut one out right now. Yeah. I mean, it tastes like Nutella. You'd have that. And then there's like the cinnamon Oreos where it's like, oh, interesting. I'm never buying that again. Right. But I did have it and I can say so.
I feel like in the editorial meeting when you brought this up, I said, that sounds really good. Like, I think that would be cool.
Right.
Like, that seems like it would work. And everybody else was like, no, God. And so maybe I'm in the minority, like with my, my affection for candy corn. I'm also in the minority there.
But people have strong feelings both ways about these things. Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't think it was awful. Like I've had awful Oreo flavors in the past, and I wouldn't say that because but it was the one thing I was concerned about was it would have actually bits of Red Hots in the filling, and it does not, which is good. I think that would have been a mistake.
I feel like Valentine's Day, in some regards, is just sort of an excuse to repackage bad chocolate into.
Well, that's definitely true.
Boxes.
There's definitely a hierarchy to the boxes of chocolate, and you know exactly where your relationship is by what you get.
Yes.
Russell Stover versus, no offense to Godiva or actually, Infusion or some actually, yeah. There's definitely a hierarchy where you know exactly where you're at in the relationship.
Like, oh, he sprung for Candinas or Madison Chocolate Company.
Exactly.
Versus,
he clearly got this at
the
Walgreens on the way home. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Still has the sticker on it. Yeah. So that's true. And then what I consider the actual bottom level of Valentine's Day is the heart-shaped pizza from Papa John's if that's what you're doing for Valentine's Day, you may want to start making other arrangements because that's you're approaching the exit ramp of that relationship.
I got a message from a restaurateur earlier this week, and he was talking about doing a special of spaghetti and meatballs, just sort of like leaning into the whole Lady and the Tramp thing,
right?
And I thought, well, that's creative because it's sort of like fun, highbrow, lowbrow. Like it's you're going out to a restaurant, but you're gonna have spaghetti and meatballs, or But if you're doing a heart-shaped pizza. My question always is, I've tried to shape pizza dough at home. It's a pain in the butt.
Right.
I'm not very good at it. I feel like I never get the gluten structure quite right. It's always sort of I'm always cursing in the kitchen trying to like make it stretch out. But they make it somehow into kind of a denty heart.
It looked kind of like a human heart in a way, that shape, more than a Valentine's Day heart. It is very lumpy, sort of like a lump with a dent in the top somehow. And it's not that appetizing. So yeah, I mean, and I'm sure that other places take it more seriously, and make it more of like a traditional Valentine's Day heart. But yeah, it's a little sad all around from concept to execution when you get the heart-shaped pizza, I think.
I had been seeing, so we had this whole rainbow trend last year. And whenever there's a trend, there's going to be that other side, the backlash, the recoil.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And the correction, I guess, for the trend. And so this year I sent our freelancer for Let's Eat out to have goth foods to run on Valentine's Day.
I remember this. Right.
Yeah. So basically, and the story is going to run when this airs, but she went around town and had the black licorice ice cream at Chocolate Shop. She had the squid ink pasta a couple places. I think Dave, Heidi over at Liliana's made some squid ink pasta for her. RP's pasta makes squid ink, like I think linguine, and it's black. Like it's really dark. Biaggi's, I think, had some squid ink pasta. She went to Red Sushi and she had the forbidden rice.
What's
which
that?
Is black rice.
Okay.
You can add to any roll or have with any roll, and that's kind of fun. Makes your sushi black.
Yeah.
So if you're eating sushi alone on Valentine's Day, get some black rice.
Right. That's a great idea.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, the activated charcoal.
Yes.
Lemonade.
I've had that.
Yeah. And it's black. Like it's really black. And also the charcoal in it apparently pulls all of the impurities and probably a lot of good things out of your body.
And the purities as well. Yeah. Right.
So, but I just said, go and find like foods that are black. And that's
a great idea.
Yeah, that's what she did. Because so everybody who's going on Valentine's Day, there's always going to be the posts about, I don't care. Why is there all this pressure to be partnered up and Valentine's Day sucks and whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and there's conventions around that
there's
too.
not more of a conscious effort to market to that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm surprised that they haven't jumped on that and made some kind of like, I don't know, Miss Lonely Hearts box of chocolate that's clearly meant just for you or something like that. Yeah, because that seems like an untapped market to me.
It really does. And it reminds me of that SNL sketch with Tina Fey where she has the brownie husband.
I don't remember that.
The shtick is that she, you're alone, but you don't have to, be really alone like you. And so she bakes this brownie husband, and it's a husband made of brownie. And so he'll cuddle with her and she can eat him as well.
That's actually a great idea.
Yeah. So brownie husband, I feel like that is absolutely an untapped area of growth.
Right.
Marketers, listen up.
Right. Yeah.
I also have to bring up, I mentioned this at the end of the episode last week, that while you can get those peanut butter cup hearts, because it's the same kind of ratio as the peanut butter cup pumpkins and trees, the ratio of peanut butter to chocolate is better.
Oh, I see.
In the Reese's peanut butter cups.
That's true.
When they're in
but you got the Easter eggs coming too. So.
Oh, the Easter eggs are the literal best.
Yeah.
They are the best.
Yeah.
I allow myself like one a year, and I put it in the freezer
I'm
first.
the same with the Cadbury cream egg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big one.
Oh, now I'm looking forward to that.
I know.
That'll be great. Valentine's Day falls on Ash Wednesday this year.
Black again.
I know.
Right.
But also, I'm curious, how many people are going to go out to restaurants like with their date with ashes on their forehead?
Oh, probably a fair bit.
Right?
Yeah.
I want to go out on Valentine's Day just for that reason.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of the rest of it. I just want to see if people are out with ashes on their head.
Yeah.
Are there things you're looking forward to that are coming up?
Looking forward to is a strong term, but the one thing I did see, Taco Bell is always sort of a go-to, and this is more not necessarily the food as sort of the idea is they're now serving French fries with their tacos. So they're called nacho fries, and they're seasoned fries with nacho cheese sauce. And it's more the concept that they're getting right into McDonald's grill now and doing like, we're going to do fries too. What are you going to do about it, basically? And so I find that interesting. Not so much the fries might be fine, but just the idea that they're doing French fries. They're just going right for the regular fast food jugular, I think. And, and will McDonald's do burritos back, or will Taco Bell just put a burger patty inside a tortilla and call it, a burger taco or something? It just seems like a crossing of the streams in fast food, which I find interesting. So I might end up doing that. And I have a friend who's a big Taco Bell guy who's come out with a couple of tastings with me. So we might check those out.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I recently was at a Greek restaurant and I had fries topped with tzatziki, like the yogurt sauce,
really
and feta. And I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
I am absolutely here for this.
Yeah.
And the Taco Bell downtown with the booze didn't really materialize, right? So you can't take your date out for Valentine's Day at Taco Bell and get a drink.
No, you have to.
Sadly.
No. And if you're talking about Valentine's Day, you should be drinking. So you might as well just drink in the parking lot at that point, right?
That's where your life is.
Who are you fooling? Right.
Well, awesome. I am very looking forward to this Valentine's Day. I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day.
You too, Lindsay. Thanks for having me.
This has been The Corner Table, a podcast about food and drink in Madison produced by the Capital Times. Our music was composed by Lindsay Christians. Read Rob's Yeah, I Ate That column and find more food and drink news online at captimes.com. Subscribe to The Corner Table on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on Facebook at Corner Table Podcast. I am your host, Cap Times food writer Lindsay Christians. I'm going to stick with my chocolate theme this week and wish you a big mug of hot cocoa with tiny marshmallows in it. Stay warm, Madison. Cheers.